even the injured. I was witnessed, and I was beaten. I was injured, and I was beaten when I was on the floor. Even I'm injured, and even they stopped the ambulance to rescue us. So they always want to throw the lack of management to and put the blame on the pilgrimage themselves, because they don't want to show themselves that they are in front of the Islamic world, that they are not capable of running the Hajj.
Michael,
Yes.
do you think it's possible that they have made these incidents intentionally, especially after their claims about Crane and Mina incident? I know we talked about it, but I want to know directly your idea. For example, some of their scholars said that the Crane, as Fatima said, they said the Crane did sajda to God, or in other words, it fell on the ground because of its modesty in front of the house of God. Or some Saudi officials said that pilgrims did suicide and they were not dead due to this incident, and so many other doubtful claims. What do you think about it?
I am convinced, and more details are coming to the public, that there are two elements, basic elements of the whole story. One is the element is a systematic provocation against certain Muslim brothers and sisters from certain countries, organized by the Saudi responsible organs. But of course, when you organize such a thing, it automatically causes panic to others. So the stampede is a very logical consequence of what happened before. And therefore the Saudi authorities take the fullest responsibility, and nobody can argue that they didn't know, because maybe you're not fully aware, maybe the brother who just spoke before me has seen himself, the technology is already there. They have communication, they have TV places, they have digital possibilities of just observing the whole scenario, the pilgrims, the Hajjis from all sides. So there's no room left for any chaos, unless the chaos is orchestrated before and in advance, and unless the chaos is in the interest of the Saudi rulers. So this is exactly the fact. And I think maybe the Islamic Ummah should come together and demand of the Siemens company, this German company who was delivering the software and all the technology to the Saudi criminal rulers, the profiles of this stuff, because the profiles clearly say that the Saudis have the capability, the technical capability of supervising the whole process.
Right, they show everything in details.
Yeah, yeah, and this can be simply proved by the company, by the technical expertise of the company producing the stuff, and this is Siemens in Germany.
Yeah, thank you. Why do you think that the Saudis never try to apologize or for any part of these aspects or this event?
Well, if they were willing to apologize, they would have taken responsibility. They would have to acknowledge that something that they did was that they were complacent to some extent with the events that occurred. As of now, they have yet to admit that anything that they've done directly or indirectly caused the tragedy and the mass casualties that we saw. And I think that anti-Saudi sentiment is growing. I don't think a lot of people like them. I mean, they have their supporters, but I think a growing number of the Muslim world is growing irritated with the way that they, they finance terrorism around the globe. They I think they churn out a lot of the radicals that we see popping up in Iraq and in Afghanistan and of course in Syria. So I don't think that they're willing to accept responsibility. That's one part of it. And as far as apologizing, in order to apologize, you'd have to acknowledge that it was your responsibility. So I think ultimately that's what it comes down to.
Sure, thank you. In your point of view, how is the reaction of Western media toward this disaster? Do they try to make it bold or not?
They are simply downplaying the whole character of the disaster. They're simply saying, take the German press, the British press, the North American press, as far as I know it. They are just saying it was an accident, this was poor management, that's it. They never published so far the true number, the extent of the true numbers of the injured, the killed pilgrims, and the consequences. And now more or less the whole report stopped. But it is very obvious, because if they would publish the whole story, the background, the whole scenario, then of course it would come clear that all Western governments are not only backing the ruling clique in Saudi Arabia, the Al Saud family, but the Al Saud family can only defend their rule because they are heavily supported from economically, militarily, intelligence-wise, etc., by their friends in the West, or better to say, the masters in the West, including the Zionists, who are very closely cooperating with the ruling circles in Saudi Arabia.
Thank you. In the recent months, we've had many incidents in different Western countries, such as the murder of that American female reporter and her cameraman, or murder of black people in a church done by a white boy, or death of many mine workers in Turkey. But the point was that the Western media totally covered these events very well, but about Mina incident, they only tried to mention it as a usual accident, and they didn't try to cover the news well. What does it mean?
The Western media, when it comes to a tragedy in Saudi Arabia, they try to cover it up because they don't want to show their support, like the Saudi Arabian, their friend. They don't want to show them in a bad way. But I would like to emphasize on something very important. As I wrote an article in Arabic newspaper, highlight on this incident, especially in Mina, or both incidents. Like I believe the stampede was done on a purpose to hide a secret operation combined with Israeli intelligence to kidnap and kill high-rank Iranian personality. As we all witnessed, the victims were sprayed by some sort of drugs, like the strong Africans, which is they are capable to absorb the heat. They just fall like leaves. I believe they try to hide the number of the pilgrimages, because they could easily kill anyone and throw the body with the other bodies. See, they suddenly changed their attitude. They only changed their attitude when the supreme leader threatened Saudi Arabia to take a strong action if they don't cooperate to find all bodies and to allow the Iranians to investigate the cause of the incident. We ask, why all the recording of that incident has been collected by Saudi regime and not allowing any country to watch them. So this is one point I would like to add on what I said before. So we'll go back to the questions. the Western media, like they show for days and days about the drowned child, the refugee child. We all have seen it. The whole world has been shocked by one boy refugee was drowned. But they did not even take that big action when there was 4,100 over 4,000 pilgrimage has been deliberately and intentionally died with horrific scenes, which is it will not fade away from the real Muslims. These scenes it will never fade, but it will fade from